And we are live. Hello, one and all, and welcome to this live pay-per-view review. It's been a while since I've done one of these, since WrestleMania, but in fact, I am back for our WWE Payback 2017 results and review video. And with me, it's been a long time since I've had him back on this channel, but NC Nerd Coalition, it is great to have you back on. Thank you for joining me for tonight's Payback review.
What's going on, Dan? It's NC the place to be. We'll try Mr. A&D. Thank you for having me back on the show, Dan. It's always great to do shows with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, without further ado, Payback 2017 is in the books, and we'll start with you. What were your overall thoughts on tonight's pay-per-view?
I thought overall it was a decent pay-per-view. I will say that it's not the worst pay-per-view I've seen, and there are things, in my personal opinion, that I thought they could have did better with to really make this a standout pay-per-view right after WrestleMania. But overall, I'm going to give it, a high average, low high grade type of like a B minus C plus average range for me.
Okay. And question for you, what were your expectations going into this show? Because I always think that plays a factor into how you enjoy these pay-per-view events.
I will be honest that my expectations going into this was I did kind of set them kind of high because we had a new House of Horrors match that nobody knew how it was going to play out. I thought that maybe towards the weeks leading up till that we were going to get a stipulation between Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns. I mean, how could you not? And
sure.
Of course, we the Neville Aries Cruiserweight rematch. I enjoyed their match at WrestleMania. So if they get more time on Payback, that's good. This is going to be the first Hardys pay-per-view as the Raw Tag Team Champions since WrestleMania, going against Cesaro and Sheamus on just a one-on-one simple tag match. So I was kind of hyped for all the matches going in. Alexa Bliss versus Bayley. So I did set my expectations kind of high. I think when certain matches or certain moments didn't meet what I expected, which, is a fault of my own, it kind of brought some of it down for me, but not to the point where it's nowhere near the worst pay-per-view of the year. Trust me, we had a lot worse.
Yeah, I'd have to say that goes to Fastlane.
Yeah, for right now, yes, Fastlane.
That takes the cake. That was just, oh, God. I don't even want to talk about it. That's how bad it was. But for me, my expectations going into the show were the opposite of yours, and I think that helped me enjoy this show. I had very low expectations. I almost forgot we had a pay-per-view tonight. So to me, I'm actually glad that I kept my expectations low because I think that helped me enjoy this show that much more, and I'm going to give it a higher grade as a result. So, I just enjoyed this show from start to finish. For me, since the brand split, this is the best Raw brand exclusive pay-per-view, in my opinion. Since the brand split started, I can't think of one that was better. The other ones, they've just been there. Maybe Hell in a Cell, but that's the closest I can think of. This was really good for my enjoyment. Yeah. I really like this show tonight.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can say, I can argue. I would, if you're saying since the brand split, I had to go back getting my memory bank, but off recent memory, I would have to agree with you.
Yes. So, with all that said about the show, do you want to talk about kickoff? Because if not, I'll just briefly. Did you watch the kickoff? I didn't watch the kickoff. I mean,
I watched the kickoff. I did go back on the YouTube and see the Finn Balor and the Miz moment, and it was just like any other Miz TV where he downs Finn Balor and Finn Balor tries to make the babyface comeback, and Miz gets his ass kicked at the end. That's all it was.
Was there a mention of Finn Balor challenging Brock Lesnar? I don't know. Was that in there? I don't know if I caught that or not.
The Miz did tease that. Finn Balor said, "I want to get my championship back," and Miz said, "Do you know who the champion is now? It's Brock Lesnar. He will destroy you." And that's the mention that he made of Brock Lesnar and Finn, being the babyface, not wanting to back down from Lesnar. So they did tease Finn Balor going up against Lesnar for the Universal Championship.
Okay, anyway, I was just wanted to make sure that was in there because I caught this segment. I caught it at the tail end of it. I saw The Miz get his ass kicked by Finn Balor. Really nothing to the segment, if you ask me. Obviously, it'll be Balor versus Wyatt heading into the next couple months, so that's something I'm really intrigued and excited about. I think that should be a good feud. So at least, I knew Finn wasn't going to have much going for him at this pay-per-view because Wyatt was the whole superstar shakeup really messed everything up. But at least we know that Finn has a direction coming out of this show. So I'm excited to see how they kick off Balor and Wyatt's feud tomorrow on Raw. So that should be good. Anything you want to say about the tag match between Enzo and Big Cass versus Anderson and Gallows?
I don't even know who won because I didn't even see that match.
Enzo and Cass won. I don't care. I just don't care. I'm sorry.
No need to apologize because they found a way for me not to care about an Enzo and Cass match.
I mean, it's how many times have these two teams fought each other? I mean, that's the problem. We've seen it a million freaking times, and it's on the pre-show. Do you really expect us to care? No, we don't. So that's why it's the pre-show. We'll briefly talk about it, but let's move on to the main show. Now, you said, did you catch you said you missed part of the United States Championship match between Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho. How much of this match did you see?
I've only seen a little bit of the beginning of the match, and then I came back and my phone was blowing up of the results of what happened at the match. I'm pretty sure we will get into.
Yes.
So from what I saw of the match, they started out in a pretty decent match. I never had the problem with their match at WrestleMania, so I figured this was going to be as good as that one was. So the part I did see, they were building up to a decent match.
I thought the match they had was actually better than their match at WrestleMania. Looking at the times here, it went slightly longer than their match at WrestleMania. At Mania, their match went 16:20. This match almost went 18 minutes. And the one thing that I liked about the story was the fact that it played into the fingertip of Kevin Owens. And somebody put this beautifully on Twitter, the fact that Kevin Owens' fingertip saved him, at WrestleMania, but here it cost him the United States Championship in a shocking victory for Chris Jericho because, as you all know, Owens targeted the fingertip of Kevin Owens, which of course made the list of Jericho, and he put it in the steel ring steps up against the ring canvas, and Jericho stomped on it, and that hurt Owens' hand. So therefore, that led to Owens being unable to set up Chris Jericho for the pop-up powerbomb, but he couldn't get Jericho up. Why? Because his fingertips were hurting. And that led to Jericho dragging Owens in the center of the ring, locking in the walls of Jericho for the second time. Owens tapped out. Really shocking finish. Chris Jericho is your new United States champion, and he's on SmackDown. Wow. I don't think anybody saw this coming. Did you? Because I know I didn't.
No, I did not see this coming, and I will say that I was naive to the fact that this was an open and closed match on Payback. Like, this is probably the most predictable match on the card, and of course, it will be that match that proves me wrong all the way.
Yeah, it's just like Jericho's going to SmackDown. I guess he's sticking around for a lot longer than we all thought. I thought he's going on tour with Fozzy. That's it. He's done. He's wrapping it up. But no, Jericho on SmackDown. And if you guys are watching live in the live chat, I see you guys there. What's going on? Remember to leave your comments. Follow along with this review. And enjoy getting your feedback. But getting back to Jericho winning, how do you feel about that? Because I think it still sets up for a number of interesting possibilities. And if Jericho's going to stick around on SmackDown, I think that's a great addition. And triple threat at Backlash, Jericho, Styles, Owens. Hey, that sounds good to me.
It sounds great. And I do agree with you if that's the case. Now, this is where I'm kind of curious because it's kind of bittersweet to me because, once again, Chris Jericho is my second favorite wrestler of all time. And having Chris Jericho win when I don't expect it, especially in, 2017, yeah, it makes me happy. But then I go over and I'm like, okay, I don't know if I'm necessarily into AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho again.
Sure.
And I was so in love with Kevin Owens coming over to SmackDown. I was so in love with how they were going to make his new Kevin Owens show shirt as the old SmackDown logo. I was so invested in him coming over to SmackDown. Now, with him losing and him going back to Raw, I guess this is a way to kind of book him saying, hey, all right, well, you are owed a Universal title match because you never got your rematch from Goldberg at Fastlane. So this is the way we can do that and have Chris Jericho come over to SmackDown, and he can probably be United States champion for another month. And then if I don't know if he's still going on the Fozzy or not, maybe he's staying a little bit longer. If he's staying a little bit longer, it can probably help out. But if he's going to Fozzy and he drops the title, I think it really does now hurt SmackDown because he just lost Kevin Owens.
Well, let me correct you there. Actually, Kevin Owens is still going to be on SmackDown. He is not moving to Raw. The stipulation was Jericho is the only one that would move to SmackDown. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Just a little bit confused because I know some people were saying that, and I was getting confused myself. But no, Owens will remain on SmackDown because he was traded in the Superstar Shakeup. So, yeah, Owens is staying put.
Okay. Now, since you have cleared the air about that, and for those out there who listen on the live stream, I do apologize. I really did not know that. But Daniel, thank you for correcting me at that one. So, okay, now if that is the case, then I can see a Styles, Owens, and Jericho triple threat at Backlash, maybe even a Fatal 4-Way if they want to add Baron Corbin in the mix.
Sure, you could. You very much could. There's a number of different outcomes, possibilities, and that's what I like. I want to see where they go next, and I'm interested to see specifically where they go with Jericho next, considering we all thought he's leaving. Is he sticking around? Maybe, we'll have to see. So, yeah, I thought it was a really good match. Much better match. Not much better, but a little bit better than the WrestleMania match, I should say. But I thought it was a great way to open the show. Anything else you want to add to Owens and Jericho?
No, but since you cleared the air, though, so that this actually makes me a little bit more excited now because now I want to see SmackDown got a little bit more firepower. I don't know for how long, but they got a little bit more firepower with having Chris Jericho over there. That's great.
A great addition. Just great.
It's a great addition. So I'm really curious to see what it's going to be with the AJ Styles added into it, and Kevin Owens is going to come back with it. So I'm actually excited for Tuesday now since you have, cleared the air of that confusion.
Yeah, I don't know how people where that came from because I maybe it was just WWE not being specific enough because they've done that before. They just don't really lay out the rules for this match. Maybe that's how people got confused of Owens potentially going to Raw, and then they need to do a better job of stating this is what's going to happen and get that information out there in a more precise manner. That way the fans don't get confused.
Yes.
So let's move on. I know you missed this match, but I'll talk about Austin Aries versus Neville for the Cruiserweight Championship. Another really good match between these two. Don't know which one I enjoyed more, the match here or the match at WrestleMania, but maybe I'd give the slight edge to the match here just for the fact that this match was on the main show as it should have been. And I really like the way that the finish of this match went down here due to the fact that, Neville used cheating heel tactics in order to get the win. Austin Aries had the last chance really locked in, and Neville was desperately trying to get his fingertips to the ropes. He actually grabbed on the referee, and of course that led to the referee declaring for the bell, the disqualification. So while Austin Aries got the win by DQ, Neville still retained the championship, and it sets up for another match in this feud, which is something that I'd like to see going forward because I feel Neville versus Austin Aries is the best thing going for the Cruiserweight division, and you need to keep this feud going forward. I'd love to see these guys have another match. They have so much left in the tank to prove. Neville's killing it as a heel. He's been Cruiserweight champion over, 90-some days since the Royal Rumble, and I think Austin Aries makes a perfect foil for him. And you have the addition of a TJ Perkins heel turn as Neville's new lackey. You could build guys up like a Jack Gallagher, Cedric Alexander, Rich Swann. Build those guys up, and then when you want to have Aries or somebody else beat Neville, it'll mean something a lot because Neville is the unstoppable dominant force in the Cruiserweight division. NC, I know you didn't see the match, but anything you want to say here?
Okay, I was wondering if TJ Perkins interfered or not, so it looks like
he did not
on his own. Okay, so this actually excites me because the next Raw pay-per-view is Extreme Rules.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they're going to go quote-unquote all extreme with it, but now, hear me out. I think I can actually see them doing a cage match because I really feel as though that they're going to do the whole quote-unquote TJ Perkins keeps getting involved, and you have to, you know how them cage matches keep everybody out, right? We know how this always works. So, of course, you can put them you can put Neville versus Austin Aries in a steel cage match because I don't think they're going to do another rematch on 205 Live, unless they're trying to get the fans actually be invested into that show. By
Sure.
the way, they're going to hold off until Extreme Rules, then have a steel cage match and to keep the TJ Perkins out, and then no disqualification, so Neville can't get disqualified or raking in the odds like he did at WrestleMania. So that, I think that would be the dynamic of it for Extreme Rules.
You know, what's funny, my friend Mike, who I had over watching the show tonight, mentioned a steel cage match stipulation as well. And you think about it, those guys could use that cage for some pretty sick spots for, cruiserweight match. So I think, even going up to the top of the cage, I'm just picturing in my mind, I'd like to see that. And it would make sense based on TJ Perkins. He didn't get involved tonight, but he has been, helping Neville as of late. So it would make sense based on the story that they're trying to tell. And I like the way, like I said, that the finish went down here. It puts the heat on Neville, keeps the feud going. It was kind of a unique finish. It was a DQ, but I liked the way that the DQ happened. It didn't kind of feel out of place or just lame or lacking. It made sense, and it will further the story, and I'm interested to see where it goes. So all in all, I enjoyed the match another good match on the show between Neville and Austin Aries. So let's move on here. We'll talk about the next match on the card here. Mm-hmm. We have the Hardy Boys taking on Cesaro and Sheamus. I really enjoyed this tag team championship match. How about you, NC?
I would have to agree with you. I enjoyed this tag team championship, and I like that. No disrespect to Gallows, Anderson, or Enzo and Cass, but I like tag team matches that have some heat. That's a solid this team versus this team.
Right.
I don't need the the triple threat or fatal four ways. And don't get me wrong, I love the ladder matches when it's all the multiple teams. But when it's a classic tag team match, there's something about those matches that I do love. And seeing the Hardys be the Hardys as the tag team champions on the first Raw pay-per-view after WrestleMania, and their first real pay-per-view back without it being a surprise, people know them going in there. It was great to see, and the team of Cesaro and Sheamus has really grown on me.
They have, and Sheamus really physical, hard-hitting style, and Cesaro physical, hard-hitting, but also uses his power and strength, as we've seen in this match. He's picking up the Hardys. He was doing the giant swing. I mean, Cesaro jumping up in midair, double foot stomp, I believe, on Jeff Hardy. There was just a number of really good spots in this match, a well-worked match that told a really good story, and we saw what happened at the end of this match, but of course, the Hardy Boys were able to retain the Raw Tag Team Championships after Jeff dove off the top rope, hit Swanton on Sheamus and Matt, incidentally, at the same time. And Jeff rolled over Sheamus, got the pin. The Hardy Boys retained. Also looked like Matt Hardy got busted open in this match, a little bit on the forehead, so there was some blood in this Tag Team Championship. There's actually a lot of blood on this show tonight, if you think about it, in the main event. We'll get into that later. But I thought the right outcome here didn't make sense for the Hardys to lose here. They just won the Tag Team Championships. They'll probably lose them down the line the closer we get to SummerSlam, have a nice little run here. And then after the match, the shocker, Sheamus and Cesaro turn heel and beat down Matt and Jeff Hardy. How'd you feel about this heel turn?
Well, it needed to happen because at first I really thought it was going to happen at Raw after Matt defeated Sheamus, but it needed to happen so you can have the dynamic of the face heel tag teams on Raw is there's not that many heel teams. So They do need a heel team. It does kind of suck to see Cesaro take the heel route because I do like him as a face, but he has worked that heel role before.
Sure.
Yeah, so having him and Sheamus be the heels, I'm fine with that. And then most likely they get a rematch at Extreme Rules. Don't know if they're going to do the ladder thing or not because the Hardys are getting kind of old. But I see the Hardys holding on to it either to SummerSlam or either until they get these rights over with the broken gimmick or anything of that nature.
Sure.
So, but like I said, great match, great heel turn at the end. I love them beating the Hardys down. That's what needed to happen because right now we don't need any more face teams, period.
And Cesaro's as a face, I love him as a face, but he really hasn't been doing much on Raw, so maybe this is exactly what he needs to kind of reinvigorate him and get him going. And speaking of Extreme Rules, my friend Mike, who's in the comments, live chat, thanks for watching, mentioned a tornado tag match for an Extreme Rules match stipulation. That would be, we haven't seen a tornado tag in in a good while. I can't remember the last tornado tag. That would be an interesting stipulation.
I agree. Last tornado tag I remember seeing was with Crime Time, so that was 2008.
Wow,
But
it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah.
So
tornado tag would actually be kind of good.
Sure. It's just pure chaos, carnage, everybody going at it. And, the Hardys will thrive in that environment. And based on what we've seen tonight, Sheamus and Cesaro would as well. So we'll see where they go with this heel turn. And really good tag team championship match. I'd even go so far as to say this was my match of the night. I don't know about you, but I'm going with this for my match of the night. I really enjoyed this match.
I will say it was a great match. Like I said, according to what I saw only, then so far this will probably have to be on the match of the night.
All right. Well, we're going to move on here, folks. We're going to talk about the Raw Women's Championship match. Bayley going into her hometown of San Jose, California, and you knew that spelled trouble, versus Alexa Bliss. And, of course, what happens when Bayley defends her title in her hometown? The hometown champion loses. That's right. We have a new Raw Women's Champion, Alexa Bliss. Wow. I predicted this, but I don't know. I was going back and forth. This one was tough for me to predict. I did say that Alexa was going to win, but something told me that maybe Bayley would, retain somehow with Sasha Banks getting involved and helping. But no, we didn't see no Sasha Banks. We saw Alexa Bliss. She hit a sick-looking DDT on Bayley, and that's it. 1, 2, 3. Your new Raw Women's Champion is Alexa Bliss, and she is the first woman to hold both the Raw and SmackDown Women's Championships. So history was made tonight. I thought her and Bayley, they had another solid match on this show, continued the theme of good matches. Just wow, what a way to make an impact for Alexa Bliss coming over from SmackDown to Raw. Oh, man. I love Alexa Bliss, and I love seeing her with that Raw Women's Championship. It's just great to see. And see, what did you think about the match and Alexa Bliss winning?
I enjoyed the match. I thought they were very creative how they used the ring post spots. Like, I liked how they had Bayley's head slide to the ring post, and that, weakened her for Alexa to use her DDT. So I was like, I like, those aspects of it. I picked Alexa Bliss to win because, in my personal opinion, the Bayley fairy tale story has gone on a little bit too long. Mm-hmm. In my personal opinion, and also because I thought that the moment was dead when she actually won it, and then she beat Charlotte not at WrestleMania, at Fastlane, and then she retained it at WrestleMania. I think the plan is now that they're going to have Alexa keep the belt, and Bayley gets a rematch at Extreme Rules, and she loses that one. Sasha beats Alexa Bliss, I guess, at Great Balls of Fire. I guess.
Oh God!
I guess
every time I cringe.
And then they're gonna have Sasha and Bayley get it back from Sasha at SummerSlam. I think that's how I see the plan going. So that gives Bayley some time to even, help put some confidence in her character, to get more fans behind her character, and to help sell her character a little bit more. Those are some of the areas I see her kind of struggle in. And so, like I said, seeing Alexa Bliss championship, like you said, seeing what championship is great, and we need more heels with the championship, especially with Charlotte moving over to SmackDown Live.
We do. I think, I like what you laid out there. I think Alexa Bliss as Raw Women's Champion, there's so many different possibilities you could go with there. I think a Sasha Banks Alexa Bliss program would be great. I don't know if there's real life heat there. There's been rumors that they don't really like each other, and I don't know. We've never really seen them have a long-term feud, I think, in NXT or on the main roster, so that would be fresh. You could have Bayley, of course, continuing to be a challenger, like you said, build her back up. I think Bayley does better as the underdog chasing for the championship, and then finally winning it again. You could build her back up for that. There's also Mickie James. Who else do you got? Emma. Nia Jax. I still feel Nia's too green. She needs time to work and improve in her in-ring work because she's rough around the edges. But
oh yeah, she's rough. She's rough.
She definitely is. But I'm really coming out of this pay-per-view, and since the Superstar shakeup, I am more excited for the Raw Women's division than compared to how I was going into WrestleMania. I feel like there's more depth, there's more possibilities, scenarios, and Alexa Bliss is champion. You can't go wrong with that. I think she'll kill it, just like she did on SmackDown Live. So Great result right there. I loved it.
I agree with you.
All right, let's talk about what I thought was definitely the low point of the show. And I'm going to ask you first, how did you feel about the House of Horrors match between Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt?
Letdown. One of the biggest letdowns I've had, because you know what? Like I said, I made the mistake of coming in here with high expectations for this match. And it started good. And when I say started, I do mean started. I'm not talking about fighting. I'm talking about when the limo pulled up.
Yep.
But ever since Randy Orton looked into the window, I said it's gonna go down from here, and it did.
It really did.
And I have problems with this match. I have things to say about this match, but overall, yeah, this was the letdown to me of the night. This really was.
I mean, I agree. I didn't know what to expect for this match. I either thought it was going to be really good, really bad, and to me, it was just kind of in the middle. You know, I agree. It was a letdown. Just what they did, it was inside a house, an old decrepit house. There was they fought in the upstairs, and there were weird, what would you say, dolls? I don't know what the hell you call them, like little baby dolls or whatever, rag dolls hanging around, and just weird imagery and dark, spooky. Ooh, it's like a horror movie. It's like a cheap horror movie. I don't know. I just felt like it really wasn't executed well. And then Bray Wyatt, what did he throw a refrigerator on top of Randy Orton? that was ridiculous. So I'm just like, okay. And then Bray gets in the limo, and they go back to the arena, and then we don't pick up on this match until after the Rollins-Joe match, but we'll continue talking about this match. And then eventually, the one funny thing was the fact that it was nighttime when this was all filmed, yet somebody pointed out that San Jose, it's actually still light out. So that kind of got messed up when they were thinking of the continuity between when they got in the limo. I guess it took them that long to get to the arena. That just made me laugh. I'm like, okay. And I don't know if you heard of what the live crowd reacted to this, but they chanted boring, boring. They were bored. Loud, boring chants.
Yeah.
Wow.
They I think when they came back to Corey Graves and Booker T, they was actually booing it.
Yeah. I mean, can you blame them? I mean, it was there. It wasn't, I mean, it's PG. You can't go all the way. I mean, but when you hear House of Horrors, I don't know. I expected more, and I'm glad I didn't get too excited for this, so I wasn't too let down. But then moving on from that, because I'll forget about this I'll forget about this tomorrow. That's how just mediocre it was. We then get back to the ring. Bray Wyatt's in the ring, and the lights come up. Randy Orton's standing in the ring. Orton hits Wyatt with the chair. Eventually, Orton and Wyatt, they begin to brawl on the outside. It looks like Randy's setting up for the RKO. But the Bollywood Boys come in and attack Randy Orton. Orton dispatches of both of them. Eventually, Jinder Mahal appears. He decks Randy Orton with the championship that he stole on last Tuesday on SmackDown. And Wyatt gets the much, much, much needed win, with Sister Abigail. I would have liked to have seen Bray get a clean win, but I guess a win's a win. How did you feel about the involvement of the Bollywood Boys, Jinder Mahal? I mean, it does tie everything together with Randy's upcoming Backlash match, but I still would have liked to have seen Bray get the win clean, because it's like he won, but with the help of Jinder and the Bollywood Boys.
Oh, now, this made it worse for me.
Yeah.
This made it worse for me, because now Bray Wyatt can't even beat Randy Orton on his own. And on top of that, I mean, having the Bollywood Boys come out and okay, I understand it's going to further the storyline. It just completely overshadowed anything that Bray Wyatt was trying to do. It took the attention off Bray Wyatt. Even after he won the match, it just took the attention off him, because he kept talking about Jinder and showing, I'm kind of glad the rivalry is done. But overall, Daniel, I don't know if we're going to get into the overall thing of this match, but yeah, there was just so much wrong with it. You're right. There's just so much wrong with it. And because when They're in the house. The way Bray Wyatt was selling did not add up to the fight they had in that house.
No.
I thought the man was going to pass over and die because the way he was breathing and
coughing,
I'm just like, bro, are you that out of shape, or did you get your ass beat that bad in the house? Because it didn't translate to any of that. And I don't know how Bray Wyatt has these powers where Randy Orton is whooping his ass and he disappears and he comes back to get his ass whooped some more. It don't translate right.
It made him look weak.
It made him extremely weak. Randy Orton is coming into this house and he's getting beat up. Then Bray Wyatt throws his refrigerator on him, and after obviously the stove catches it, then it rolls over. Whoever the production team is didn't catch that Randy Orton's foot will at least be on the other side of the refrigerator. They can't see that. And I don't know if anybody else. Yeah, I don't know if anybody else saw the cameraman in the shadows as they're recording as Bray Wyatt is walking out. And I'm like, why is there a limo? It was just so many questions. The things I would have. Here's how I feel: you either go 100% all in or 100% not. You can't have it both ways. But I don't mind some of the campy stuff. Like I said, I grew up with the New Generation era back in the early 90s. So if you want to go straight cartoon, go there. When they did Undertaker versus Mankind and SummerSlam,
I love that. I love that.
Go 100% campy and they'll like the match. But if you're trying to make this serious, but you want to make it campy and them coming back to the ring, it makes no sense. Why would Bray Wyatt want to drive back to the arena when he has to pin Randy Orton when he gets there? And why are you going to leave Randy Orton in the house? It makes no sense.
Yeah, that was really that was stupid. You're right. It made no sense. So I could see why they did it. Doesn't make any sense.
It does, and just having Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers, come out and just destroy Randy Orton. This whole thing fell flat. The rivalry started good and it just fell flat. I'm glad now Bray Wyatt can move away from this. And they say, well, he finally got a meaningful win. He still doesn't count to me because he needed Jinder Mahal's help. Because if Jinder Mahal didn't come out, he would have lost on RKO again. And it shows
Randy would have beat him. You're right. Randy would have beat him. It's just like Bray, he just continues to look weak and ineffective. And I'm happy that this rivalry, which I had such a high expectations for going into it when I heard we're finally getting Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt, it was a feud that on paper I thought would be really good, but it just didn't live up to my expectations. One reason I think is the fact that I felt the storyline fell apart after Randy burned the Wyatt family compound down because they couldn't follow up from that. They didn't know how to. And another reason, I don't think they have good chemistry in the ring. I'll be honest. I just don't think they do. It's not their fault. It's just how it is. Just doesn't happen. So at least we can say that they will both be going their separate ways. Bray will be feuding with Finn, which I'm excited for, and then Randy will be feuding with Jinder. So we'll see how that goes at Backlash. But yeah, definitely for me, the low point of this show. And let's talk about Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe. An average match with an interesting finish, although it does keep the rivalry going, as I thought they were going to look for a way to keep this rivalry going. The match was slow to start. With Joe working. I did like how Joe worked on the Seth Rollins, which makes sense because he mentioned it in his promos heading into this match that he was going to cripple and injure Seth Rollins. So it only makes sense for Samoa Joe to target and attack that knee, and I like that part of the match. I felt like it was slow throughout the middle part of this match, and then eventually the match would pick up, and Rollins was able to surprisingly get the win here after Samoa Joe looked like he was going to get Rollins in. He locked in the Coquina clutch, but Rollins was able to roll over Samoa Joe into a modified cradle, pick up the win. Samoa Joe looked shocked. He was like, holy crap, I can't believe that Seth Rollins just beat me. So despite the fact that Samoa Joe suffered a loss here, I thought it was done in a way that was effective because it didn't, it wasn't like Rollins beat Joe, too cleanly. I mean, he got a fluke win and was able to get his way out of Samoa Joe, potentially injuring his leg or his knee even further. So it keeps the rivalry going between Seth Rollins and Samoa Joe. I want to see more from these two because I know they can even have a better match than they had here. Like I said, I thought the match was average. I like the psychology of Joe attacking the knee. And see, what were your thoughts on this match?
I actually kind of like this match, and like you said, the story of Samoa Joe attacking the knee, I really did enjoy that one. And this was a nice, testing out period to see what kind of matches Samoa Joe and Seth Rollins can do. They have two different styles. My only thing was when Samoa Joe tried to put the clutch on Seth Rollins and he rolled him up, was his shoulder down? Did they botch that ending? Or was that
I didn't catch it, but I saw people, I saw other people mention it, so maybe that was the case, but I missed it. I didn't see it.
Oh, but other than that, I didn't have a problem with the match. Like I said, when did they tell a story like that, and it's like, okay, Samoa Joe took out his leg, and the moves that he was doing on Seth Rollins' leg, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the senton splash on the leg that looked like it hurt. I enjoyed the leg wrench in between the ropes. I enjoyed those kind of moves that Samoa Joe did the weekend out of leg. So it told a good aspect of the story. I thought it was actually a decent match. I would like to see if they are going to go further, what kind of, high-paced match are they going to have?
Sure.
In the future.
This feud is far from over. And, it doesn't make Joe look too weak. He'll still want to, he'll be seething and want to seek his revenge. And, a vengeful destroyer, just leash Samoa Joe is the best type of Samoa Joe. So based on his reaction, I'm really excited to see what they do tomorrow on Raw and heading forward with him and Seth Rollins. So anything else you want to add about this match before we move into our main event?
Oh, no, I enjoyed it, so I had no problems.
So let's talk about our main event, folks. Braun Strowman versus the injured Roman Reigns, who makes his return after being beaten down and viciously attacked in that great beatdown segment on Raw 2 weeks ago. And this was a solid main event. Actually, this was Braun Strowman's, believe it or not. This was his first pay-per-view main event. So a big moment for Braun Strowman here at Payback 2017. Great opportunity for him to step up to the plate. But him and Roman went out there, and they had a really solid match. A good match. Told a story of, Roman Reigns not being at 100%, and that's what eventually factored into this match. Roman tried. He hit spear on Strowman, but, that wasn't enough. He hit the drive-by on Braun Strowman, but Strowman was able to, at Strowman threw Roman Reigns several times into the steel steps. I mean, he clobbered him. He threw him off the announcer's table. Reigns was able to throw Strowman into the ring post. Strowman managed to make it back into the ring before the count of 10. And Strowman picked Reigns up and hit him into a nice-looking backbreaker. So that looked like it applied pressure to the injured ribs and shoulder area of Roman Reigns. So I liked that. And towards the end, Strowman hit the running power slam. Reigns kicked out. Strowman picked up Reigns, hit the power slam again, and Braun Strowman beat Roman Reigns clean. Wow. I was hoping for that to happen. I didn't know if it was going to be clean. I thought maybe it would be in some hokey BS type of finish, but as long as Strowman won, I'd be happy. But Strowman beat Reigns clean. I thought it was the right move to go forward because due to the fact that Strowman will be challenging Lesnar presumably at that July pay-per-view, whose name I shall not utter because it's so bad. I'm not saying it. Believe me, I'm not. But yeah,
I like the song.
Yes, the song's great. Pay-per-view, not so much. But NC, how did you feel about this match and the finish? Most importantly,
at first they shocked me because at first I was upset that it wasn't an ambulance match or a stretcher match, knowing that Extreme Rules, they're probably going to have the rubber match since Reigns got his win at Fastlane and Strowman got his win here. So it looks like it's going to be an ambulance match at Extreme Rules. Okay, so I'm cool with that. So in this one, it was a pure beatdown, which I enjoy, which it should have been. With everything Strowman has been doing for the past 3 weeks on Raw, throwing off dumpsters off small stages, and breaking the ring the third time with the Big Show, great ref bump, and tipping over the ambulance and all that other stuff was great. So there was no other outcome that it should have been other than a beatdown. So with him beating down Roman Reigns, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the post-match stuff of him taking the steel steps and actually shoving into Roman Reigns' ribs. I like that more than him just dropping him on the edge of it. I was like, if you're gonna do all that, use the bottom of the stairs. But I do like how everything added up and how strong Strowman looked. And
He
I
did.
do think that he takes on Lesnar. I think he takes on Lesnar at SummerSlam.
SummerSlam. Okay. Then who do you think Lesnar would fight at that July pay-per-view?
I honestly, because you know what, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Finn Balor.
It could be. It could.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think they want to save that because Vince likes those big marquee type things. And SummerSlam is the WrestleMania of the summer. So he would want to probably do Lesnar and Strowman at SummerSlam. You don't want to do Lesnar Reigns because you're trying to say that for WrestleMania, but Lesnar Strowman at SummerSlam, and then you have Finn Balor come try to take the mantle at the pay-per-view that should not be named.
Yeah. We'll leave it at that. But that's an interesting theory. I think Lesnar Strowman should be saved for SummerSlam, and I think that would work. Lesnar Balor, I think that could be a really good match if, we've seen Lesnar have – I'll go back to the match that Lesnar had with CM Punk, which was the match of the year in 2013. I think if Lesnar is motivated and goes in there, I think him and Balor could have a match of that caliber. I know that they both have momentum to do that. It would be a kick-ass match. And yeah, you could say, Balor's a small guy and, Lesnar's this big beast. Well, you know what? It's pro wrestling. You can suspend your disbelief just, for a little bit. I wouldn't have a problem with Balor going up against Lesnar. And I don't think he'd beat Lesnar, but I think it would be one hell of a match. So I like your scenario that you outlined there. And one other thing before we close out this review, like you said, Strowman did beat down Reigns after the match. He took steel steps right into the gut of Roman Reigns. It looks like Reigns was coughing up some blood afterwards. So I don't know if he had some messed up internal organs going on, but I think that added to the beatdown even more because Reigns just looked like he got the ever-loving shit beat out of him. So I thought it was a good way for the pay-per-view to go off the air. Strowman standing tall and dominant, and with that, come full circle in this review. It's time to give our grades for this pay-per-view. I already got my grade. I'm going to give it a B+. I really enjoyed this pay-per-view. To me, it was the best Raw exclusive pay-per-view so far. So my grade for tonight is a B+. And see, what grade are you giving this show?
After talking about it and going over the things I said, I do agree that it was a strong pay-per-view, but there's just certain things. Like, I can't forgive the House of Horrors match. I can't. It's not going to take it to a C. It's not. But I'm still going to give it a B-. I'm going to give it a B-.
Okay.
If it's a high C+, it's like a 79. But it's
Sure.
that the House of Horrors thing, I can't forgive it because better than that. And also, it just wasn't part of Payback, but they had it on Raw Talk. I don't know if anybody's seen the segment with Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman backstage, which kind of, in my opinion, kind of messed up the beatdown a little bit more because it made Braun Strowman look a little bit stupid.
Well, when he ran into the door.
I'm not done with you yet. Just completely missed. Tripped into the boxes. That's it. If Reigns spears him through the boxes, I have a problem with that. But then Reigns beat him with the ambulance door, and I was just like, it was great, and y'all had to touch it. That's how I felt about it.
Sure.
It's like I made a perfect vase in clay class, and somebody just had to put the design in it, and it was done already. I had the Patrick Swayze thing going, and y'all just ruined it. So that's how I felt. And but I'm overall, I will give it, like I said at the beginning, C+, B-, leaning more towards the B-.
Okay. Sounds good. And hopefully this leads to more excitement, intrigue for the Raw brand going forward, and we'll have to see what's in store tomorrow night on Raw. So, without further ado, before we go off the air here, NC, you can get a plug in for your channel.
Oh, yes. Okay, guys. So, since I've been going through copyright stuff with my channel. Since it is gone and we are in the clear, now I can get back to what's best of business. So make sure you guys try to stay tuned for that. I went to Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore, the last indie show that the Hardys were allowed to be at. So I have a vlog that we put together to doing all that stuff. And stay tuned for more wrestling content. And make sure also that y'all check out man Daniel, guys. I got a new Q&A video out. Make sure y'all participate in all that stuff like that. And make sure you keep supporting this man's channel. Keep supporting the wrestling stuff, because the YouTube, what's going on YouTube now and how you're trying to demonetize wrestling content out there, you know they always come after the smaller ones first.
Yes.
Exactly. So make sure you guys give this guy and give people like me and the Club of the Man and the BSP Wrestling. Make sure you give all these guys support, because they go out here and they watch all this wrestling, and then they sit there, they try to give good quality content for you to talk about and for us, for them to listen to. So make sure you guys go support Daniel, guys, and make sure y'all go do that and come check out Nerd Coalition when y'all get time and stuff like that. Don't worry, I'm like Jericho on YouTube. I'll put everybody else over.
Thank you very much for those very kind words, and thank you for everybody who tuned into this live review. Remember, once this video is posted, please leave your comments down below in the comments section, of course, for what you thought of Payback, and remember to click my like and subscribe button for more video content coming soon to this channel. I will be doing a Raw review, but I won't be watching Raw live tomorrow because my Pittsburgh Penguins are going to be playing Game 3 of Round 2 versus the Washington Capitals, so you can probably expect a Raw review Tuesday or Wednesday. Might do a live SmackDown review depending on how much time I got. So no live Raw review, possibly a live SmackDown review. So that's what's on the docket this week for this channel. So that is it, guys. Thank you all for watching, and you all have a great night, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Take care.